What's going on, y'all? My name is Joltage, and today, bringing you my final LPL LCU game of the season. My team did not perform like we wanted to, and we're not able to make playoffs. So really, this game was kind of pointless in that I wasn't really playing for anything other than Bride and stuff. And thus, I almost brought something um, a lot more interesting than what I ended up bringing, but I ultimately just decided on bringing what ended up being a um, a pretty standard looking Hail team. But we'll dive into that right now. All right, so this is the team. Like I said, we went for Hail this week. The first team I built um, ended up being a very just like standard build path that I noticed I had fallen into like a bunch, where it's Qfint plus Sandshrew plus Watergrass and then like filler, though my filler often ends up being Natu and then an actual filler. Um, and I noticed I'd run basically that like 3 times already, so wanted to scrap that, and I decided to throw together a Hail team because I hadn't really even thought about bringing Hail so far this season, so I thought it could be interesting um, as an option. I also built a SwSh team, but I decided that would be a little too cursed and possibly a little too troll because I don't think SwSh is good. Anyway, as far as this team goes, we went pretty standard. I didn't want to go Scarf Snover just because I didn't really want to go Scarf Snover. I think Scarf Snover is probably the better Snover, but I wanted to run Berry Juice just in case I wanted to switch up moves, sub Berry Juice. In fact, get a double stab and then Ice Shard and then substitute, because the fourth move really doesn't matter that much. It's either going to be Wood Hammer, Water Pulse, or it really doesn't matter. It could be Grass Whistle for all that matters. Snover really wishes that Game Freak was nice to it and gave it Earth Power like it gave its dad Abomasnow. But yeah, Snover's pretty standard stuff there. We got 14 speed because, I like running 14 speed on everything. Next up, we've got Sandshrew A. Obviously, I'm running Hail. I'm going to have Sandshrew A, Slush Rush. Out for Berry Juice over like Life Orb or Eevio, just because I like Berry Juice on Sandshrew A. I think Life Orb's also very good. Life Orb helps you get some KOs you don't otherwise get, specifically on like Qfints and things, with your Earthquake, but I decided to go for Swords Dance, and decided that would be enough to offset the power loss from a lack of Life Orb. But we're Triple Axle because Triple Axle is stronger than Icicle Spear the majority of the time. Like 3 hits versus 3 hits, Triple Axle is gonna be stronger, obviously. And then we've got Earthquake. Opted not to go for knockoff just because Ice Ground is really good. I want a Rapid Spin just in case. I wanted to try to keep Sandshrew looking threatening outside of a Hail option, and then SD because wall break, because more breaking power is always kind of fun. I don't think this is Sandshrew A's best set by any means, but thought it would work here. Next up, we got Scrub. This is pretty standard pivot Scrub, flip turn, Hydro, Sludge Bomb, T-Bolt literally just for other Scrubs, Tintas, and Frillish. Yeah, standard Scrub. Next up, we got Baltoy. I decided to run Baltoy here because I wanted a ground immunity here, and I wanted rocks, and yeah, I didn't run Spin on this Baltoy, even though I think Spin is Baltoy's best move because the +1 speed really allows it to just kind of be annoying for teams. But it just rocks 3 attacks, Psychic, Scorching Sands, and Ice Beam. And this one is actually a slightly faster Baltoy than I normally run. I normally run on 14 speed. This one's 15 speed because um, Krogunk could be really annoying to my team. So I wanted to like outspeed. I wanted to like at least tie with like the super speedy ones, and like have a way to deal with it there. Ice beams mainly for like other Baltoy, Sandshrew, stuff like that, obviously. But yeah, next up we've got Pancham. My standard Pancham. We go, 17 attack, 14 defense, 12 Spadef, 14 speed. Drain Punch, Knockoff, Zen Headbutt again because Krogunk is kind of a bitch for this team. And then Parting Shot is the last one, just because Parting Shot's cool to have a pivot. Forms a little pivot core with Skrelp, Pancham, and then Helio. And yeah, I mean, pretty self-explanatory. Panda's the number one usage mod in the tier for a reason. Next up, we've got Helioptile. Helioptile is my favorite Scarfer. It's like the only Scarfer pretty much that I use. And yeah, we're just running that. Helioptile also just allows me another option for dealing with bulky waters that could potentially be annoying for the team. They're going to be like Sandshrew A's number one stop, so it's good to just have options for dealing with them. And yeah, but that's the team. It's not my favorite team, but I don't think it's a bad team. I don't think this is like the premier version of Hail, but it looks pretty standard, and I figured it would be enough to get the job done here. But let's get back to the game. Alright, back to the game. Now, don't even think I said who I was playing against. We're playing against Zero, out of Zero from the Scrubs. Zero's a very nice guy I've been hoping, testing with, and like, just talking about LCU a lot. He's just been really cool to talk to, so very happy to be able to play him this week. He ended up bringing that you remember the whole what I was talking about at the very beginning of the team building thing with the whole Cufant Sandshrew water grass filler? Yeah, you brought that. I think that's just a really safe team style, if that makes sense. Yeah, he basically, that's almost the exact team I brought last week, except, like 4 of the 6 are the same that I brought last week. Except he's got a Sizzlipede, and Minccino in place of my Axew Natu. But yeah, so like matchup wise, I'm like, okay, Sizzlipede's weirdly annoying. I had a feeling he would run it just because he has run it before. I think Sizzly's a solid Pokemon. I just I haven't run it myself much, but I think it's solid. And it looks like his game plan is to try to get up spikes and then have Minccino probably clean late game. His either his Cufant or his Sandshrew could be his rocker here. I typically run it Cufant Rock, Sandshrew as spin plus and then spin, and then have its 4th move be filler for the team. But yeah, so it's looking okay. My Pancham's actually really good in this game. It turns out to be really good in this game. It doesn't look as stellar as it ends up being for me. But anyway, I'm just going to lead Helioptile just because it's Scarf. I don't really expect anything on his team to like actually be Scarfed on this team. And the only thing that is threatening is Cufant, because I outspeed everything else. But yeah, so we lead Helio. Perfect lead matchup. On the Frillish, I go for the U-turn just in case he wanted to go Sandshrew. I didn't want to get stopped, and I go out to my Snover on the Budew, just to get that hail up. I thought about going to my Sandshrew just outright, but I didn't want that being slept or anything, just in case. And yeah, figured I could just get the hail up here. Now I expect, like, he has actual ice resist, which is, good for him. I don't run ice resist on a lot of teams, outside of like my water type, but he has like 3 of them. So I don't expect his Budgie to stay in here, especially because Snover tends to be running Scarf, so he wouldn't know that his Budgie could outspeed me. I don't know if his Budgie does outspeed me, but actually I learned later that it doesn't. It at least ties, at most ties with my Snover. But all that to say, I'm just gonna switch out to my Scrub here, really predicting the Sizzlipede, but Cufant comes in. Anyway, he goes for the Power Whip, which doesn't do a whole lot, and I just flip turn out of there. I get to bring out my Pancham here, and this is a really free knockoff in my eyes here. So he goes Budgie, loses its EVO. I have the Zen Headbutt, and noticed that I took the hail damage first, so I so I knew that he didn't just outright outspeed me, so I felt pretty okay about just going for the Zen there. And I'm able to take out the Budgie, which is cool. He goes out to a Sizzlipede. I'm not trying to have my... He goes out to a Sizzlipede there, and I just decide to Parting Shot out. I didn't want to just hard switch into anything, and I wasn't too worried about what he would do. So I Parting Shot out of his Frillish, and that's a free Helioptile. I go for the U-turn again because Sandshrew, as he goes Sizzlipede. I go out to my Scrub. He goes for the Burn Up. Burn Up is that's not a move you're going to see a whole lot, but Burn Up is a 130 base power, 100% accurate special fire type move that removes the fire typing of the Pokemon that used it. I don't like it on Sizzlipede, really. I think Sizzlipede's probably best served just running 4 attacks, being Fire Lash, Knock, Power Whip, and Leech Life, because like its special attack stats not very good, and I don't really think it does a whole lot for it. I think Burn Up has like some use on, I've seen it on Growlithe where it like kind of neat sometimes, but I'm not a huge fan of it on Sizzlipede. But as it's not really doing a whole lot, I go for the Thunderbolt there, expecting like the Frillish. I mean, the cool thing about the Burn Up is it wouldn't have taken super effective damage from my like water move, but like that's still a very strong move that I would have taken. Here I decided to go for the here I went for the Sludge Bomb, like just in case he went Frillish, and I didn't feel like going for the T-Bolt again because he for some reason clearly didn't want to go Frillish, even though Frillish is one of the better Scrub answers in terms of you resist both stab moves, and T-Bolt doesn't do that much to you, like realistically. Like, I mean, it does like 40, which is enough, and you don't really threaten it back unless you have Psychic, which is pretty good on Frillish actually. But I'm kind of digressing at this point. Anyway, he goes Q-Fit on my Sludge Bomb, so he's in a good position there. I decided to go Baltoy as he goes for the Zen this time, so he did have Zen. I guess he was predicting the Baltoy the first time, back when he Power Whipped my Scrub on the flip turn. Where's that? Yeah, back when he Power Whipped my Scrub on the flip turn. But like, Scrub doesn't die to Zen there either, so I think that was a fine play. He crits me with the Power Whip. I thought I say oh in the chat, thinking, because my thinking was I'm gonna get up Stealth Rock here because I outspeed for sure, and I was thinking that I would live the Power Whip and be able to do something next turn. Turns out that it was a roll in his favor to kill me anyway, so the crit really likely doesn't matter, but I didn't calc that, and I just assumed I would be able to live that. But no, Cufant strong. But anyway, I just get to go up to my Pancham. Very free knockoff here. And I'm able to 2-hit KO his Frillish, which is dope. He curse bodies my my Pancham there, so I can't knock off whatever comes in. He goes to a Sandshrew. Obviously, he's gonna get off the spin. I decide to hard switch out rather than go for the parting shot. I feel like parting shot probably was better in like looking back on it, but it didn't really harm me that much. I go right to Snover on his spin, and yeah, so my rocks are gone, which is unfortunate, obviously, for that Sizzlipede. I expect him to switch out here because, you know, I could still be Scarf Snover, and it would just be a tie. Like, I haven't shown that I'm not Scarf Snover. I could be double Scarf on this very easily, but he decides to stay and go for the knockoff instead, which was an interesting play, as I decided to go Scroll Up expecting either the Cufin or the Sizzlipede, but he stays in, knocks off my Scroll Up. I just decide to sack it. He goes for another knockoff, which is fine, but I'm able to go out to my Sandshrew. I think, by the way, I think that his play after on that second knockoff probably should have been Spin. If Spin killed, I don't know if it did, but if Spin did kill, I think Spin was the better play, because then he'd be +2, just like my Sandshrew is effectively +2, and he potentially could have tied with me, at least. I don't know exactly how fast his Sandshrew is, but at only +1, it's obviously not faster than my Sandshrew. So I go for the triple axle. I just need to hit. He decides to stay, probably hoping I miss or over predict or something, and is able to would be able to take me out with Earthquake. But I do hit all three, and his Sandshrew goes down. Here I don't want to get rid of my Sandshrew because that could be really good for Minccino late game, and yeah, so I decided to go out to Helioptile because Helioptile surprisingly lives the Fire Lash and the Hail, even though Hail stopped, but it would have lived the Hail too. And I can freely Volt Switch out. I click U-turn again on accident when I meant to click Volt Switch, but it doesn't end up mattering, as I get to go out to my Pancham again. Win a potential speed tie with the Drain Punch, but my Pancham wasn't knocked, so I lived the Zen regardless there, and I'm able to Slurp. But the Cufin goes down there. He goes out to his Minccino. He goes for the Tail Slap. He misses. Minccino doesn't kill Pancham most of the time. He needs a crit or 3 15 out of 3 1 in 16 max rolls to take out Pancham with Tail Slap. So his Tail Slap miss isn't that consequential, as I'm able to take him out with the Drain. Yeah, then he goes out to a Sizzlipede. I just decide to knock off. It doesn't really matter anyway. Even if he was able to take out my Pancham, I could have gone out to Helio after I saw Minccino's item. I assume it was Life Orb. It might not have been, but if it was, then I could have gone out to Helio, Volt Switched into Snover, basically sacked the Snover, gone to my Sandshrew. My Sandshrew should have been able to win eventually, just because it's got Earthquake for Sizzlipede, and Sizzlipede's not that bulky. But anyway, Pancham's just going to be able to clean from here. And yeah, Pancham actually picked up 5 of these kills, didn't he? Oh, good job, Pancham. I didn't even realize he was the fucking MVP. But I guess he should get he already got a thumbnail. Sorry, Pancham. This one's going to Sandshrew because it's the Hail team. Anyway, guys, that's going to do it for my season of LPL LCUU. We end 5-1. My team overall in LCUU and 6-1. So LCUU was holding it down. but the rest, but we couldn't unfortunately get the results we needed in other tiers. But you know, I feel pretty good about how everything went. You know, and I'm looking forward to helping out some people with their playoff LCU prep and stuff. You know, testing and all that. But yeah. Anyway, guys, if you enjoyed, please feel free to hit the like button, or not, comment, you know, stuff. Oh, the usual, you know how it goes. But I will see you next time. Not sure what that's gonna be because I don't have any tournament games anymore, and yeah, but I'll hit you back eventually. But yeah, bye bye.